Glenys Bridges, and today I'm going to be talking with Jill Adair. Jill is the lead tutor for our reception courses, and in particular we're going to be talking about the Lead Receptionist Course, in which people who have got management responsibilities over reception teams learn a range of skills that will help them to fulfill that role. Jill.
Hello.
Hi there. How do you feel that the receptionists that do the course with us benefit from having the input of the programme?
So I would say that most of the receptionists that do the lead reception role have moved up from being a receptionist and they've been promoted up to the role. So they're familiar with all the reception tasks, but what they're not familiar with is how to supervise, how to people manage, and how to link into the senior leadership team. So from my point of view as a practice manager, my lead receptionist, I want her to take the responsibility for reception. I want her to lead reception, I want her to supervise the staff, and I want her to ensure that we've got a really sleek and professional service going on there. And I think that's what this course teaches. It teaches a receptionist how to step up into a lead receptionist role with the skills that they will need.
Because it's incredibly difficult, particularly if they've been working shoulder to shoulder with the same colleagues over a number of years and then take on that lead role. They need to be able to convince themselves, don't they, that they've got the skills that mean that their colleagues will benefit from them taking that role.
Absolutely, and I think that's where this course really helps. It's because it builds the confidence. They become confident in that role, and if you're confident, then you get the respect from your other team members. And often I will catch people just as they've been promoted, and they might be sort of encountering a little bit of resistance, maybe a little bit of friction. And it's good for them to be able to talk about that and say, gosh, you know, and we can talk about it. We can look at the course. We can look at all sorts of different aspects of stepping up into that role. And I think it really helps them to feel confident into really being a good lead receptionist.
Absolutely. And I also think the important thing is that they know what to ask for by way of support from their managers.
Yes.
A really clear job description explaining how far their authority extends. And that needs to also be communicated to the rest of the reception team so that they know that if the receptionist in the lead role is asking to do something, that will be the same as the practice manager or even the practice owner asking them to do that.
Absolutely. And that's where a good senior management team, that's when they work really well, isn't it? When everybody knows their role and everybody is supportive of each other in their role. So that if you do encounter any problem, there's somebody else there to say, no, it's okay. So everybody works together in a really solid team.
Absolutely. And that way they can create standardized ways of working so that people can know at the end of the day when they go home that they've done a really good job because it was set out what that job was, how it needs to be done, the standards it needs to meet. They can tick all the boxes and go home at the end of the day knowing they've done a really good job.
Yeah. And that's win-win because the patients benefit because you've got a really professional, well-run practice, but equally the staff benefit because they go home feeling they've had a good day at work. Because we all want to go to work and come home and say, oh, I've enjoyed my work today. So it's win-win. Everybody wins.
And of course, it gives them a really good opening for the next stages in their career. If they're in a big organisation with multiple practices, ready to move into practice management roles. And if they're not in a bigger practice, being able to be far more of a deputy manager so that the practice manager has less of the stress on that person's shoulders, but they truly become that team of professional people communicating well and sharing the burden of compliance of all things.
Yeah, absolutely. I think one thing that some of the lead receptionists have said to me is that after doing the course, it's really opened their minds to other aspects of work. So maybe they look at things in a slightly different way, or they're aware of the bigger picture. And that is a big step up into management. And then once that door has been opened, you can expand on that, can't you? And they can, really, it's much easier then to step up into further roles.
Absolutely. And it can make them more aware and proactive about their professional development too.
Yeah.
I mean,
And be proud of the job they do.
Absolutely, take pride in it. Some receptionists, lead receptionists, are GDC registers, and they will have a PDP that they need to keep that. Even alongside of all their clinical CPD that is mandatory, they still need to make sure that they're scheduling into that, and maybe more than the standard 50 hours, with things that are about communication and supervisory management. And this course helps them to identify those, doesn't it? And put them in.
Oh, absolutely. And it helps, I think, the lead receptionists realise the benefit of having training, because sometimes receptionists can get a little bit left behind.
Yeah.
And once you realise the benefits of the training, it gives you that enthusiasm to do more.
Absolutely. Something I've been concerned about right from dental nurse registration was a big chasm grow between the registered and non-registered staff in the practice.
Yeah.
I think these days we've more and more training that has to be taken by everybody. We talk about safeguarding, GDPR. It's sort of increasing the mindset towards non-registrants doing CPD, isn't it? And I think when they've got a lead role within their practice, who's totally aware of the benefits for the staff and for the practice of formal CPD, then the practice is only going to benefit.
Absolutely. And what I do as a practice manager, I have a list of topics that I ask my receptionists to do. And they're pleased to do it because they know it's going to benefit them and the practice. And, they feel more of a part of the team, because all the nurses and dentists and hygienists, they're all doing CPD. So, they can add this to their portfolio, and they're more an integral part of the team, all doing training as well.
Absolutely. I think we're going into tough times now. Like we've never, I mean, there's always seems to be a crisis that we're working around, doesn't there, over the past 10 years or more than that. But I think the reception team are going to really be on the blunt end of this, with patients being concerned about paying for treatments and just the general mood around. And I think the more the reception team are a team and support one another, the better they will weather this really trying time that we're going through.
Yeah. And also, I mean, a lot of practices are having difficulty recruiting staff now. Staff have left dentistry, and if you do recruit somebody, you want to keep them, don't you? You want to you want to build them up, you want to get them working well, and you don't want to lose staff, because it's so disruptive to a practice when you've got continual flow of new staff coming in. So, nurturing them and training them up to be valuable members of staff is the way to go, definitely.
It's an investment, isn't it, for the practice?
Absolutely.
An investment that will pay them back in droves. And plus the fact that all the learning that the senior receptionist gets through the course, that cascade to the rest of the team. It's not just going to stay there. There's really going to be benefits throughout the non-clinical team within the practice.
And it makes them feel valued. Everybody wants to feel valued in their work, and that's just one other thing that you can do to make a staff member feel that they're valued.
That's right. And you and I are the two tutors that are taking the lead receptionist course at the moment, and we're both more than happy to have conversations with people who are considering doing the course, just to talk through their individual circumstances and how they can fit it in with all the other things that they've got to do within their life, because we've seen it all, haven't we, really, with people.
And I think that the one thing that I found is that if a receptionist has been promoted up to be a lead receptionist, the one thing they're concerned about is, I haven't done any training for ages. I don't know if I can do it. I'm nervous, I'm anxious, oh gosh, is it going to be okay? And I think the nice thing about our training is that it's one-to-one, it goes at their pace, you can have a chat. It's not a formal training in terms of, you know, you have to write long essays, or, you know, it's a much more personal training where each
So
individual
it's
gets
teaching
taught the
and
way that.
mentoring really that they're provided with, isn't it, all the way through?
Absolutely, yeah.
Wonderful. Well, thank you for your time today, Jill, and let's hope that people will listen to this and want to find out more by giving us a call.
Yeah, I'm quite happy to chat to anybody who just wants to know a little bit more how it all works. You know, I'm always available on, you know, just drop me a line, email me, and I'll be available just to talk things through. Happy to.
Thank you.